This, my friends, is the iFootage Shark Nano II 660 made in collaboration with DJI. As you can see, there's a DJI gimbal sitting on top of here. And this combination together will let you do roll, pan, and tilt and all of these smart and crazy features and all that stuff. But what if I told you that this same slider can now work also with the DJI Osmo Pocket 3? No other slider can say that. Let's talk about it. What's good, y'all? This is Tight Shirt Terry Warfield sliding your way. That was so cheesy. Hey, remember to be thankful for your freaking life today because you did not have to have that. Seriously, you are so blessed even when you don't realize it. A couple things. First, this video is sponsored by iFootage, so feel however you want to feel about that. I have made so much Osmo Pocket 3 content on this channel. When they hit me up and let me know that, like, yo, our new slider can actually work with the Pocket 3, I was like, why isn't it on my doorstep? So I'm gonna show you all about this slider and tell you all of this stuff about it, right? But I also want to show you what it could do with the Osmo Pocket 3 because it basically takes all of this, right? And allows you to do the same thing, but on your little Pocket 3 that you probably already have. Now, with that said, again, Shark Nano II 660. Make sure that you check the links in the description and the pinned comment for best pricing. I love how lightweight and sturdy this thing is. It's made out of aluminum and carbon fiber. It's got 1/4-20 mounts all over it. 3/8 points all over it, so you can mount this to tripods, you can mount other things to it like crab arms and all that other good stuff. I love how it has a touchscreen on here, and let me just say this, okay? Obviously, there's an app that you can use. It's the iFootage Moco app that you can use to, control everything through this, but you don't have to. Everything can be done through this screen right here, which is so fire. You could also power this a few different ways. So you could use traditional Sony MP batteries. Those are real good. Just pop it on the side and it will last you for a couple hours. But iFootage also has this bad boy right here. Let me know if you can see that. Matter of fact, I'll just put a little B-roll on the screen for you. So this is the PD140H, and it has a 1/4-20 screw on the top of it. So technically you could actually mount this to the slider and just run a USB-C cable. So this can also be powered with any power delivery source. This one is 4,500 milliamps and 97.2 watt hours. So again, links for this will also be in the description. Now there's a few things that come in the box. So there's a phone mount. If you wanted to mount the phone to the slider, you can. There's also a traditional plate that has a 1/4-20 and a 3/8 combo screw on top. So you just plop that on here. You can mount any of your action cameras on here, your camera, and it'll give you side to side and let you go this way, right? But then there's another plate on here that allows you to connect DJI Gimbals to the Nano 2. Now, it's not all DJI Gimbals, mainly most of the gimbals that come off, so the battery comes off at the bottom, that also have a data port on the side, which is not the RS3 that I have mounted on here. The RS3 Pro does, but for whatever reason, DJI decided to leave it out. So the RS3 is not supported, but I still wanted to show y'all how this works. Although I can't show you the full compatibility and capability, I will use the Osmo Pocket 3 to show you that, okay? But anyway, so make sure you check out iFootage's website for a list of DJI gimbals that will work. To mount it, you just slide the plate into place. You take the top of the DJI gimbal, you sit it right on top, lock it into place, and then there's a connector on the back of the plate, and you just connect that to the data port of the gimbal. Now, once you have a DJI gimbal mounted on top, then the opportunities for creativity become endless because not only do you get pan, you get tilt, and you also get roll. And a lot of these gimbals from DJI will let you roll 360 degrees. So imagine what type of parallax shots that you can get while the gimbal's moving and the camera's panning and doing all this stuff at the same time. Also, if you connect the phone to it, you can actually do subject tracking. And then to mount the Pocket 3 to it, it's the same idea. So you will need a Pocket 3 adapter. Again, link will be in the description for you to pick one of these up. If you already have a Shark Nano 2 slider, it's a firmware update that you install. It's a free download that will enable you to control your Osmo Pocket 3 in the same way that you can control the full gimbals that I showed you, which I'm gonna demonstrate to you in a moment. Now to mount this plate to the slider, same way that you put the other plate on there, line up the data port, lock it into place. Now this plate actually has 1/4-20 and a 3/8 mount on top of it, and then a cold shoe on top of that. So all we're gonna do is take our cold shoe attachment for the Pocket 3, slot this right into place, and all we gotta do is lock it down. And then all you need to do is take a USB-C cable, plug it into the output port on the plate and then plug that into the Osmo Pocket 3. The other thing, because this is a cold shoe mount and the Osmo Pocket 3 is so freaking small, you could use like one of iFootage's crab arms and literally connect this to the base and then connect the Osmo Pocket 3 to the top of it. So you could actually, position the Osmo Pocket 3 in weird ways where you wouldn't be able to get a bigger camera into. Now, once you have this all mounted up, you turn the Osmo Pocket 3 on and you turn the slider on, it's gonna ask you, do you wanna do USB mode or do you wanna use webcam mode? For this to work with the Pocket 3, you have to use webcam mode. With the bigger gimbal, you do have to make sure that you put it into push mode when it comes to the gimbal settings so that you can move the head of the gimbal around. Same thing with the Pocket 3, you just put it into follow mode. Now, one of my favorite things about this is, again, I told you that there's an app, but you don't have to use the app. This touchscreen will allow you to do everything. Let me demonstrate. All your different modes on here. So you got video, you got time lapse, you got stop motion, you got panorama mode, you got multi-target mode. So this mode is super useful if like you're doing an interview and you needed to bounce back between multiple people during it. I mean, I don't have a use case for that. So we're just gonna go to video. Now the other thing, you see all of these letters where all of these represent quote unquote keyframes. So you can put up to 8 positions on one slide. Now again, you could do this all through the app, but I prefer to do it here. So I'm gonna hit these 2 buttons to unlock it so that we can move the slider freely. And then I have a couple items set up on the desk that I'm gonna use to show you how this works, okay? So the only thing I have to do is, for my first keyframe, I wanted to focus on the monitor. So I used the joystick, or you can just move the gimbal head manually, or you can do this from the app. I find the app to be a little fiddly, trying to get the position and all that stuff right, but we move it to where we want and we press A, and then our first position is set. Now, if I want to move it to my next position, I'm going to slide it over, right? I'm going to point this downward because now I want it to focus on the battery grip. And again, you can set a delay in here, so if you wanted to go to 1 point and wait, you can do that. But this is where I want my second point to be, so I'm gonna move this over and press B, so that's my second point. And then I want it to focus on the camera over here for my third point. So I'm gonna slide this over and then turn it that way, point it downwards, and lock in my last place. Okay, so the only thing we got to do now is press standby. All right, and you'll see the slider move. And again, we can adjust how fast this happens, how slow it goes. We can put it on a loop, so if you wanted to just continuously go back and forth, you can do that. And then to start it, all I'm going to do is press start. Now, because you hear that recording, because this is all connected, now it automatically starts the Pocket 3's recording. So it's doing everything. It's going to my second point. And then it's gonna go to my third point. And you don't even have to use the built-in tracking on the Pocket 3 because you're setting the points by yourself. And then it goes over to the camera. So this is the iFootage Moco app. Again, this is a free app that you get from the App Store. Everything that I set up on the slider is reflected in the app. So my points are on there. You can use the joysticks at the bottom to manually control the Osmo Pocket 3, or if you're using one of the bigger RS series gimbals, you can do that. You control the time, the speed, the hold time, the delay, all that on the left-hand side. At the top, you could also choose what recording frame rate that the camera chooses when it starts it. Also at the top, if you click on video, all of your different modes are in there. Because I'm in video right now and we already have keyframes in here, some of these are grayed out, but you see your time lapse, stop motion, macro, panorama, multi-target, so all of these things are in there. So again, you can use the app if you want to, but the power of that slider over there is you can do all of this right from the slider. All right, I'm filming with my iPhone 17 Pro. I got the Osmo Pocket 3 out here on the Nano 2 on top of a tripod. We about to get some dynamic movement, man. All right, so here's my first point. So let's go ahead and press A to set that. And I want the camera to slowly slide over that way and point that direction. So as I walk around the truck and come this way, the Pocket 3 will follow me, not even using the built-in track at all with gimbal movement. So let's move it all the way over here. Rotate the Pocket 3 this way and then point the gimbal right there. All right. Let's go ahead and press B and run it. Also, because this thing is so lightweight and the motors are so strong, you could also put this in different weird positions, like diagonally. You can mount it vertically and get some of those vertical tracking shots that we all love. Like, honestly, the creative possibilities with this thing are freaking endless. I'm gonna say, like, even if you don't have like a bigger gimbal setup and maybe you only have an Osmo Pocket 3, or maybe you just have an action camera or a smaller camera, you can grow with this slider. If you start off and you just use the camera you still got the regular plate that you can put on there to still get some dope sliding and, you know, tracking shots and all that stuff. If you get an Osmo Pocket 3 because it has a gimbal, then you can use it to get those more advanced shots. And then if you ever decide that you want to invest in a bigger gimbal setup and it's a compatible DJI gimbal, then again, you have a slider that grows with you that has all of these crazy tracking abilities and all of that stuff. So honestly, it's like an amazing investment all the way around. No matter if you're doing like product shots, no matter if you're using it professionally, no matter if you're doing it for like live streaming, you can set it on loop. No matter if you're doing interviews, you need it to bounce back and forth between multiple people. Like, this thing is so freaking versatile. Honestly, one of my favorite tech pickups this whole entire year. So anyways, let me know what y'all think about the slider and the fact that you can use it with the Osmo Pocket 3 down in the comment section. Again, links to everything will be down there. Also, they are affiliate links, so I just got to inform you that you're gonna buy it anyway, so you might as well use the links below. Thank you to iFootage for sponsoring today's video. And that's it, y'all. So until next time, I'm out of here. Tight shirt, Terry Warfield. Piece of chicken grease. Much love, y'all. Peace.